Welcome to Primetime Live from the Duxbury Senior Center. I'm Joanne Moore, and I'm your host for today's show. I'm so pleased to have Kathleen Cameron from NCOA with me today, and we are going to talk about the flu and you and what that's all about. So thanks so much for coming up and sharing this great information. This is our second show we're taping today, and the first one I think we could have talked for an hour more.
Yes, we could have.
So thanks so much for coming
my pleasure.
all the way up.
It's great to be here.
So can you tell me a little bit about NCOA's Flu and You campaign and why it got started and the whole shebang?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, the National Council on Aging is collaborating with Santa Fe Pasteur on this awareness campaign about the flu. And we got involved in this because one of the major areas of focus at the National Council on Aging is healthy aging. And older adults are at highest risk for getting the flu. I don't think a lot of people recognize that, but they truly are. So we wanted to spread the word about the importance of the flu vaccine for older adults. And it's something that has to be done every year. So we're partnering with Santa Fe Pasteur on this campaign. And we're, as I said, spreading the word about the importance of prevention for the flu, the seriousness of the flu among older adults, and then also about vaccine options that older adults have, because there is a special vaccine developed for older adults. It's a higher dose vaccine than the regular standard flu vaccine that's available for people under the age of 65.
So if you went to Rite Aid to get a flu shot, would they automatically give you this special dosage 65 and older flu shot, or do you have to ask?
I think it depends on the pharmacy, but they should give it to you if you're over the age of 65. The higher dose vaccine is a Medicare benefit. It doesn't have a copay, so there's no cost for older adults. If they don't ask, definitely ask for it if you're over the age of 65. That's definitely my advice.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So what are some of the symptoms of the flu that people should look out for?
Yes, there are lots of symptoms, and right now, the flu is not prevalent. People aren't coming down with the flu yet.
When does that start?
It's going to start I would say about 6 weeks, and it peaks from December to February. So that's when most people really develop the flu if they're going to get it. But we want to help prevent the flu from happening.
And how far in advance of that December, February time should you get the shot?
Well, the vaccine is available right now, so we recommend that people, go now to get their flu shot.
Okay.
It takes about 2 weeks for it to be effective, for the immune system to build up to be effective against the flu. But even if you don't get it now or in the next 1 or 2 months, even if you get it in December, January, there's still going to be some effectiveness against the flu, even if you get it late. So it'll help prevent the flu from happening. But if you do get the flu, some of the symptoms that you might have are things like a fever, cough, sore throat, runny or stuffy nose, tend to be overly tired, very, very fatigued, as well as having body aches and a headache. So there are lots of symptoms of the flu, and if you feel you have the flu, definitely contact your physician if you're over the age of 65, because there are some treatments available, and the sooner you start the treatments, the sooner the flu can be reduced.
And so question, what is the usual length of the flu if someone gets it, or does it vary?
It varies, and I'm glad you asked that question, because for older adults, they're more susceptible to the flu, but they're also more susceptible to the complications of the flu. So the flu for them may last, a couple of weeks, and they may be hospitalized as a result. More than 50% of the hospitalizations last year during the 2014-2015 flu season were among older adults. Wow. And older adults accounted for almost all of the deaths associated with the flu last year. So it's a very serious problem from older adults. But the good news is we do have prevention, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommend that the flu vaccine is the single best way to prevent the flu. There are other things that we need to think about too, in terms of covering our coughs like this, covering our sneezes, making sure other people are doing that, staying away from people who are sick during flu season, recommending to people if they are sick to not go out in public, those types of things. And then a really important thing is regular hand washing to prevent the flu.
So really that sanitizer, how does that work as well as washing your hands, that hand sanitizer? Or
You know what they found recently is that hand washing and the hand sanitizer are as effective as...
and do you have to wash your hands for a certain amount of time?
They say, what is it? Sing happy birthday. That's the amount of time you should be washing your hands.
So we should have
Sing
a
one
musical
verse
bathroom
of happy birthday. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. So, 4 to 5 times a day at least. And when you come in from being outside, always wash your hands.
After you shake someone's hand, I would assume.
If you're shopping.
Yeah, I do see now at the grocery store they have like the little
Yes.
sanitizer you can wipe your card in. That's
Yeah.
probably a pretty important thing to do.
I always do it. I would recommend it, yeah.
Okay.
In addition to washing your hands. I think both are important when you get home from being out in public,
Yeah.
yes.
So why are 65-year-old and olders more susceptible to the flu?
As we get older, our immune systems weaken, and meaning we don't have the antibodies that are needed to fight infectious diseases like the flu. So we're more apt to come down with the flu and again have complications from the flu because we can't fight them off. So that's why this higher dose vaccine is so important for older adults. Yeah.
So what about if you aren't 65 years old, what are the other options for flu vaccine that are out there? Because you said there were a couple different things you could do.
Well, the CDC recommends that everyone over the age of 6 months get a flu vaccine, get a flu shot. So there's a standard flu vaccine that's available for people under the age of 65. We have other options. There's an intranasal vaccine, I believe, that is indicated for people up to the age of 50. There's actually like an intradermal version of the flu vaccine. So there are a number of different things that are available. So my recommendation is, talk to your healthcare provider about which option is really best for you, based on your own chronic conditions that you might have, maybe if you've had a reaction.
Yeah, I was going to say I had a reaction one time, and I haven't had a flu shot yet. Since then. And I was talking to a nurse, and she said call the doctor's office and check because there may be an option. That might
There are
be the
more
right
options
one.
available. For example, they used to use, I believe it was the egg protein for some of the flu vaccines, but there are many people who are allergic to eggs and weren't able to be immunized for the flu, but now there are versions without the egg protein. So we're fortunate that we do have options now.
Okay. So let me, how are you getting the word out about this, Flu and You? I know it's a big campaign that's going on around the country. How are you sharing this information?
It is. There are a number of ways that we're sharing the information about Flu plus You. We have a website, and that website is ncoa.org/flu. There's lots of information there about the flu itself, how long it lasts, who's at highest risk. There's information on how to prevent the flu, as well as the vaccine options that we've been talking about. There's also a wonderful public service announcement on the website that Judith Light did for us. She is our national celebrity spokesperson, and Judith Light, some of the viewers may not remember Judith Light, but she was on a TV show during the 1980s called Who's the Boss? She played Angela on Who's the Boss. And she's currently in a new TV show called Transparent that's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
That's a wonderful show. And she's also going to be starring in a new Broadway play. It begins at the end of October. But she has been a wonderful spokesperson for the flu campaign. Last week I had the pleasure of working with her. We did a national media tour. And what that means is it was a satellite media tour, so we were hooked up in a television studio with, I think we did over 25 different interviews with different TV, radio, and internet sites. So that's another way we're getting the word out through the regular media. We're doing Twitter chats on Flu Plus U,
So
Facebook page.
If someone wanted to get in on a Twitter chat, how do you do that?
Go to our website and find out when those Twitter chats are happening. I'm not exactly sure when they're going to take place. We also have a Facebook page that has information on Flu Plus U.
Okay.
So yeah, so
I know we've been posting a few things on the Flu Plus U because we had an event last week and we're having our flu clinic tomorrow.
Wonderful.
And an educational program. But so we should be retweeting this information, some of this information, I would
Yeah,
think.
absolutely. If I think you can go to the NCOA Twitter Twitter page, do it that way. But I believe there's also one specifically for the Flu Plus U campaign. Yeah. In addition to kind of the media activity, we are also doing events across the country, and really pleased to be working with Duxbury Senior Center on one of the events. But there are a number of other cities where we're doing special events. Let's see, Denver, Philadelphia, Houston, or just some of the cities that we're reaching out to. And those cities are bringing people together, older adults in, to learn about the flu and to get their flu shots at many of the events. So that's really exciting too.
And so we're so glad you're going to be with us tomorrow at
Yes.
our educational program, and we do have a flu clinic going on, and we will be posting things on our Facebook page.
Wonderful.
But I think maybe we need to do a little bit more connecting with your Facebook page to make sure we're really getting all the information out there.
We'd love it if you could, post some photos from your event.
We would love to do that.
That would be wonderful. Yeah.
And I did send some to Vanessa, who is working with you last week.
Yes, exactly.
So let's see, we have lots of questions. So what is the timing of the initiative? How long does it last, this whole Flu and You?
Yeah, we started really at the end of August, and it'll run through October. Again, to spread the word about the importance of prevention and getting your flu shot, because this is really the time now to get your flu shot.
Yeah, it seems like all the pharmacies say flu shots available at this point.
Yes, exactly.
And are more people getting their flu shot at a pharmacy than their doctor, or is it kind of half and half?
I don't know what the rates are, but the flu shot has become very accessible. You're right. Pharmacies across the country have it available. They have flu clinics. There are health departments that have flu clinics where you can get flu shots, and then doctors also have the flu shot available. So it's wonderful that it's so much easier these days to get a flu shot. It's not just at your doctor's office. So yeah, now's the time.
Now, will Judith Light be on a commercial so that you'll see her on a commercial? So will that be out there too?
The public service announcement, or the ad, is playing in different areas of the country. I know it has been shown in the Washington, D.C. area where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think some of the cities that I've mentioned before.
Is there a certain time we should be looking at for it? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be. Yeah, I wish I could answer that question. We're working with a company that's kind of handling that part of it. Yeah.
And you did talk about the foundation who's funding this. Can you tell us a little bit more about the foundation that's funding this initiative?
Well, Sanofi Pasteur is one of the drug companies that makes a flu vaccine, and they're very interested in spreading the word about prevention. So they are supporting our efforts to get the word out, and we're working with experts at their company who know all about flu and the different strains of the flu that are going to be around this year, and and information that seniors need to know about. They're helping us with that information.
And are some years the flu strain worse than others, or is it?
Yeah, it does. It can vary. I know a few years ago, the strains of the flu were very bad, and a lot of people did get sick. Just a recent report that came out from the CDC last week is showing that the strains of the flu that have been kind of found in circulation in many different countries around the world and in the United States are being captured in the flu vaccine.
Oh, good.
It's what happens is the CDC and companies that make the flu vaccine, they identify the strains of the flu that they feel are going to be most common, but they have to do that far in advance of flu season, because the companies need to manufacture the flu. the flu shots.
How far
So-
in advance do they start?
Oh,
I mean,
they start 6 months at least in advance. They have to, because it takes a long time to produce the flu vaccine. But fortunately, the latest that they have found is that the strains that are currently in circulation, I think their research went through like beginning of September, found that the strains that our flu vaccine currently has in them, or the antigen against the strains, are those that are still in circulation that will cover the vast majority.
so question for you. So if I live in Australia and it's going to be winter when it's summer here, is the flu season a different time, and would you be getting your shot at a different time? I'm just wondering, like, for that pre-planning, or does everyone should get it in the fall?
No, I think you need to get it in the wintertime in Australia
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. It happens, during the winter months. That's when the flu.
And so
flu
do they look to other countries to kind of determine
They
where that
do.
strain is going to like come around to the United States? Then?
Absolutely, yeah, they do, and that's a way to kind of help predict what might be, what the strains might be, later on in the year. Yeah.
And so do they take the information from the flu that was going around, say, last year, and use that as the basis?
Do, yes. That's one piece of data that they use to decide on what, what strains of the flu they need to protect against in the flu vaccine. Yeah.
And how many?
There are, slight changes from year to year, and they try to capture those changes.
And how many flu vaccines do you think are given out across the country? I mean, maybe that's
it's in the millions.
Wow.
Yeah, I read the number the other day, and I wish I could give it to you.
But millions.
It's millions. Yes, absolutely.
So really,
yes.
people are taking heed that this is really the most important way to prevent flu is to get this vaccine.
Yes, they are. They are. I think the flu hit hard a couple of years ago, and it really opened up people's eyes to the importance of prevention and getting the flu shot, and the fact that the flu, as I mentioned, is so easy to get now. Yeah.
And why do you think it's easier to get now? Is it just because people are out more, or?
No, I mean the flu shot itself.
Oh, the
I'm
flu
sorry.
shot. I thought you were saying.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one reason, I'm a pharmacist, and over the last decade, pharmacists have become certified in administering the flu shot. So that's why so many pharmacies have it available. Yeah, there's a special certification program that pharmacists go through to be able to do that in their pharmacies.
Well,
so it's a great service.
It is a great service, especially because sometimes getting a doctor's appointment can take a while. That it's really, if you think about it and you say, oh, I can pop into the local pharmacy and get my flu shot right away, that really does help.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So I know there was some funding that went along with this grant. Can you tell me, I know the organization, how about Judith Light? How was she funded? Did she volunteer? Or?
No, I don't think she volunteered. She is getting paid to provide kind of her name associated with the campaign. So she is getting paid by Santa Fe Pasteur to serve as our celebrity spokesperson, and it's great because I think a lot of people will tune in a little bit more when they recognize someone.
Well, I'm looking forward to see the commercial. So you did.
And it's great too because she's actually over the age of 65, and she really believes in the importance of the flu shot. And when I was working with her last week, one of the things that she said over and over during the interviews is make it a family affair. Take your grandmother or take your mother with you when you get your flu shot to make sure that they get their flu shot. As caregivers, we need to protect ourselves and protect all of our loved ones.
Yeah, I was reading some statistic, and they said for the caregiver, or if you're around small children, it's just as important for you to get the flu shot to protect yourself as well as protect the other person.
Right. You don't want to spread the flu to others that you're caring for. Exactly.
And so if you do get the flu, how long should you stay away from people?
If you do get the flu, that's going to vary too, depending on how long the flu is in your body. But at least a week, until you're feeling all the symptoms have gone away, the symptoms that I mentioned earlier. But definitely check with your doctor before you go out in public,
right?
Because even about a day before you actually come down with symptoms, you're contagious and you can spread it to others, and then it can last a week or more after you actually develop the flu.
Right.
but you know, to be certain, check with your doctor.
And what are some of the other complications that you're seeing in seniors if they get the flu? What does it go on to, or what are some of the other things?
Right, yeah, that's a great question. What we found is people with certain chronic conditions like heart disease and diabetes and respiratory conditions, COPD and asthma, are more prone to getting the flu. And some of the things that can happen is because the flu virus, it's really a respiratory illness. Older adults can develop pneumonia, bronchitis, sinus infections, those types of things that can land them in the hospital. You know, I'm sure you know, working with older adults, pneumonia can hit older adults very hard and can lead to other things. So those are the common things that can happen, but the flu can actually make other conditions worse, can make the symptoms of other conditions like asthma and emphysema a lot worse, as well as heart disease and diabetes. So again, it's prevention is what we want to do. Yeah, that's the message.
Well, and I know some people, my brother, for example, every year gets bronchitis, so really a flu shot for him is really important.
Very important.
So if you're susceptible and you're on the fence about getting a flu shot, that's, as you talked, risk factors. That's one more risk factor you kind of really should get the flu shot.
Yeah, if you're susceptible, if you have commonly get respiratory infections, you want to get the flu shot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know one misconception that a lot of people have about the flu is that they're going to get the flu.
Right.
I used to hear that a lot among seniors when I worked in a pharmacy, and you cannot get the flu from the flu shot. There's no live flu virus in the flu shot, so there's no way you can get the flu shot. Some people may get some body aches after. It's just the way their body reacts to the flu, and they may feel that that's actually the flu, but it's just their body reacting to the flu vaccine, and it usually goes away, you know, fairly quickly.
So if it's the vaccine that you're having a little bit of a reaction to, that would go maybe 24, 48 hours?
Yes.
But if you really get a good case of the flu, it seems like you're going to be down and out for a little bit longer.
Yes, you're going to have, you know, the symptoms that I mentioned, the cough and the runny nose and the headaches and the fatigue that I mentioned. Yeah.
So it sounds like the flu is like a week to 10 day.
Yes.
And
typically, yeah, for someone to get over.
Right.
Yeah, but as I mentioned too, make sure you contact your doctor if you do get the flu, because there are some treatments that help to combat the flu once you get it and reduce some of those symptoms and help you get over the flu quicker.
I'm sure hydration is one of the most important things.
Yes, hydration and rest are very important. Yes.
And probably, is it, if you're worn out, are you more susceptible to the flu?
Yes. I mean, if you're under a lot of stress in your life, that's going to put a burden on your immune system to begin with, so it's harder to fight an infection. So yes, you're more likely to get the flu. You know, if you're under a lot of stress, if you're not getting much rest, if you're working real hard.
So as a caregiver, I could imagine that would be, you really could get a case of the flu, and how traumatic that would be.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, caregivers definitely have a lot of work to do and are often under a lot of stress with the caregiving tasks that they have to do on a daily basis. So yes, all caregivers should get a flu shot as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, let's go over some of those facts that we talked about, just because we're getting close to the end of the show. So tell me again, who should get the flu shot?
Everyone over the age of 6 months of age should get the flu shot, but older adults, those 65 years of age and older, are particularly susceptible to the flu because of the weakening of the immune system that happens as we all age. So they're more likely to get the flu, as well as experience complications from the flu.
Okay.
And we do have now a higher dose flu vaccine available for people over the age of 65 to address the weakening of the immune system.
And a senior should ask for this.
Yes.
Is there a certain name to it, or is it just called a high dose?
A higher dose flu vaccine.
Dose. Okay. And you said something about Medicare, so tell me a little bit about that again.
Yes, Medicare provides coverage for the flu shot for Medicare beneficiaries. It's a preventative benefit. that, you know, we're fortunate that Medicare does cover, and there's no copay, so there's no cost to older adults if they're on Medicare.
And where should you go to get a shot?
You can get a shot at your doctor's office, at pharmacies now, flu clinics, health departments. There are lots of places to get the flu shot now. And you can get more information about the flu and your flu vaccine options at ncoa.org/flu.
Okay, so there's lots of good information online too.
Great information online about the flu.
All right. And so if someone's afraid they're going to get the flu from getting the shot, the answer is?
No, you cannot get the flu from the flu shot.
And it's funny,
You
I
cannot.
hear that quite often, that I don't know if I want to get that flu shot. I got the
Yes.
flu last time. So really they probably had something already going on in their system.
In their
and-
system, or they could have had, you know, a mild reaction to the flu vaccine itself. Yes, yes.
All right.
And we hear too, oh, I've never gotten the flu, I don't need a flu shot. Well, this winter you might
Yeah.
be more susceptible, particularly if you're over the age of 65.
So a great way to reduce risk is just to get that flu shot.
Yes, and that's what the CDC recommends as the single best way to prevent the flu.
Yep. And the next thing is to what? Wash your hands?
Wash your hands regularly. Stay away from people who are sick. We want to cover our coughs and make sure those around
Yeah,
us
this-
are covering coughs and covering our sneezes, because
Okay.
that spreads the droplets that
Okay.
spread the virus.
So there's lots of good information out there on the NCOA website. Could you do that, the website again for me?
Sure. The website is ncoa.org/flu.
So there's everything you need to know, and we should look for the Judith Light commercials.
Yes, look for the Judith Light commercials, hopefully on Primetime.
And how about Facebook? If we wanted to see a preview of those commercials, is there anything on the NCOA website with a preview
Yes,
of commercials?
there is. On the website that I just mentioned, you can view the Judith Light advertisement.
So if you want to see that ahead of everybody else, just
Yes.
go to that NCOA
Yeah.
website. So are you in any of the commercials?
No, I'm not in any of the commercials.
I wasn't
no.
sure when you said you were doing a lot of taping. So
No, we were on TV stations and radio stations
Great.
and some internet sites, but no.
So
I
so
leave the
here you are,
acting to
you're on-
Judith.
yes, you're on TV today. So,
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. I learned so much about the flu, and I am going to call the doctor so I can find out if I can get the flu shot. And thank you. I learned so much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All
My
right.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.